It's called rock, paper, shotgun.
Yes.
It's like paper, stone, scissors.
Exactly.
But rather than scissors.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
How do you do that? Is it that?
I think it's the most important thing in the world, probably,
Yeah.
because everybody gets away with being po-faced, and everybody's basically, it's silliness gets ironed out of us. Because, I see my little 15-month-old daughter. She loves being silly, and she loves sort of doing silly things, and she loves laughter, and it gets ironed out of us. And I think once we lose the love of silliness, we're doomed, basically, and we become adults, and we become very serious, and we take over the world, and we try to kill people and do that.
I think particularly with, more and more we're fed, clothed by multinationals, and they demand a serious, po-faced look at the world, and it's they're almost like death. And it always struck me the best way to not die young is to learn to be silly and laugh. I think you live longer, and that's why I find we're so controlled in a sense. We're happy to be controlled. That's what bothers me. So many people are quite happy to have the latest this or that or the other thing, because it's easy. It's just handed to us now. We're like children again, except without the playfulness and the silliness that children are born with. And yet we're behaving like children. Just please give me more things, and maybe I'll be happy. So yeah, it's absolutely essential that we've got to.
I mean, my heart bleeds for people who work for big corporations and these headless corporations which just what are they doing? They're just making money, and that's all they're interested. That's all they can actually do is make money, and so they don't have any ideals. They don't have, and we're supposed to think this is the best system of society. It's crazy.
Communism was much sillier.
We never grew up, I suppose.
Yeah. I lost it.
You lost it? Yeah. When you went a bit serious.
Yeah, I went very serious.
Yeah.
Because when you're making movies and the budgets get big, you've got to be serious. Because you have to talk to serious men to get that money. And being silly just doesn't work.
But your company is called Poo Poo Pictures.
Yes, that's true. And that's the one thing I held on to as long as I could go into a meeting with lawyers and business people and say, are you happy to work with Poo Poo Pictures? I thought I was maintaining just that little glimmer of hope.
I think, Terry's films are all basically about imagination. That's what it's all about. And you never get away from it. You never stop making films about imagination. I'd make a film about something else. For God's sake, It will all be imaginative.
What is it about the world? The world sort of tries to close in and say, this is what it is. This is the limitations of the world. And I think imagination is the thing that we all need to break out of that, to say the world is more than what we're being served up at any moment. I was reading a thing by Heinrich Heine, a great German writer. And he was talking about childhood. The very thing you're talking about is that a child, everything, when you're very young, everything is almost equal. You haven't worked out the importance, the priority of things. That's interesting, and that's interesting, and that's interesting. So the possibilities are endless. And as you grow older, you say, all right, that's not that. And this is the important thing. And you prioritize, and you just close it in.
Well, I always think, when a child walks into a room, they see the underside of the table, for example, and they think, I wonder what that is, and then it's got 4 legs. Whereas we come in and we see it's a table, so we don't see it, and so you just cut it out, and but the child has got to work everything out by feeling it and touching it.
Because I think that's what we do. We just decide these aren't important. That's a table. I know it's a table. So But in fact, it could be much more interesting if you really look at it. It could be a whole world in that table if you really start concentrating.
It's like the chair in Fanny and Alexander, where the actor describes the chair in the nursery. It's a wonderful piece sequence.
Yes. Go and watch Fanny and Alexander when you finish watching us. No, I don't know. I'm just desperate to keep offering other ways of looking at the world and encouraging people to do likewise, whatever their version might be. That's all. Nothing more than that. I may be right, I may be wrong. It doesn't matter. It's just, here's an alternative. You think. Invent your own world. Don't rely on my world.
I think that's my interest in history as well, is that it's don't take what the historians are telling you as fact, because a lot of it is nonsense. There's a wonderful book called Lies My Teacher Taught Me, and it's an analysis of American textbooks by Robert Lurvin, his name is, and he looks at American textbooks and he says there's no other discipline. Discipline where there's such a discrepancy between what the experts know and what actually we are taught in schools, and there's just lies, total lies.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Christopher Columbus discovering America. They all the textbooks sort of pay homage to that. But of course, he didn't discover America.
Well, America discovered him.
I think it's like, for example, Python will never do anything else because we all get on too well together. So we needed to struggle and have conflict within the group in order to actually to do things. I think it has its own momentum.
No, I think so, and I mean it's also, we were talking about imagination as opposed to fantasy, because there's so many films that are fantasy and they don't seem to be grounded at all. That's what bothers me about them, because I find what's interesting is how the imagination, the dream, the idea, how that tries to escape from the limitations of, quote, reality, and it's that battle between the two that gets interesting. And if you just go flying off because you can do anything, and where's the tension, where's the drama, is I suppose what it's about. And I think drama is rather important in life.
Well, and also I think that for me, fantasy has always, or imagination has always been an echo of reality, and I've always found it very difficult to look at the world that we're living in now, and I've always found that it was in fantasy and in history actually that you could see the echo of the world that we're living in, and suddenly recognise, oh, it's the same character ruling us today, Tony Blair or Cameron and Clegg, they're.
But see, this is what worries me about in America, in America in particular, but Britain has become like America, is that there is no history in America anymore. It's not taught, it's not encouraged, so everything is kind of like Pol Pot's version of America. It's day one. Every day is the first day of my life, and today it can all happen. And wait a minute, what are we doing? Which is what is great for consumerism, because then you will buy that thing that will make you happy today, that'll be right on the market today, that'll change your life. And there's no resonance because you're not looking at the fact, in fact, actually 10 years earlier it had happened, the same thing, but we've forgotten even 10 years ago. I mean, I find it really hard now to be reminded of where we were just a few years ago.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that, sort of Blair took history out of the education. You don't have to study history after 14 now, so it's not in the national curriculum, and it's because they want blank ciphers walking into the super malls and the shopping malls, because you can sell to people who have no sense of history.
Yeah, the Blair Witch Project.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not satisfied. I want to keep making more things, but if I had to die tomorrow, I'm pretty pleased with what we pulled off. We got away with murder.
It's always, you're never satisfied, really. I mean, when I find it very difficult to watch the movies sometimes, because they think, oh dear, we did that wrong. I can remember when we shot it and thought, oh God, they were so awful.
That's why I don't watch the movies.
But always you want to do something new. Really, that's the goal. The goal is always the next project. Oh yes,
Game.
Yeah.
It's the Ministry of Silly Games.
Is it?
Yeah, it's an app
Is it an app?
An app. Yeah.
What is
So
that? Like something like a boil? You
No,
can
no,
get rid of
no,
it?
no. You can't burst it.
Oh,
no,
well, that takes all the fun
you have
out of
to
it.
play it, and you have to do it on your iPhone or something like
Do
that.
you have to do it with other people?
Well, I think so. Yeah, I think
no.
social gaming or something like
no.
that. It's evidently addictive, and
Really?
and that's how they hook people into it.
And that will make us rich?
Yeah,
That's it.
apparently so.
That's why we're here.
Yes, no, shh.
Guys,
Hi.
thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Thanks a lot.